Germany is known for its beautiful landscapes, rich history, and efficiency when it comes to manufacturing. But there's one stigma that seems Germany cannot get rid of, and that's being rude, mean, and just downright evil. Let's get to that. Hello everybody, I'm Justin Banks, and this is my channel where I explore the differences between Germany and America, as well as a lot about my personal life and connections. And so I wanted to make a video about this topic. So what is a stereotype or a stigma? A stigma is a negative ideal about a group of people, whether it is saying that, for example, saying that all people are lazy or all people are rude, in this case in Germany, or you saying one group is just way better mouthed. That's the difference. And a lot of times people hold these stereotypes or hold these stigmas about people, and once it sticks, it seems like it can never go away. The biggest thing that people say about Germany is that Germans are punctual and efficient. Now, I don't think if there was anything that you can describe a person, efficiency is like really top notch. And so German products are very popular all around the world, whether it's cars or anything else. If it's Germany is connected to it, people automatically assume that it's great. But on the other side, this negative side, the stigma, is that when you come to Germany, that the people are rude. And I have a very strong opinion about this, and I'm going to give it to you. The origins of Germany's being considered rude or overly blunt stems from Germany's style of communication in comparison to other nations like America. Germans are very straightforward, efficient, and direct in their communication, especially when it comes to critique about another person. Whereas in America and a lot of other nations, we value being polite, indirect, and small talk. All right, and it's like we say, we had a little bit of fluff to it. We always got to say something positive and something before we direct something negative. And there's even one theory in America now where when you're dealing with children, you should always speak. You should always turn even a negative comment about a person. You should always try to find a way to say it in a positive way. Whereas Germans being very direct, that will throw a lot of people off. And that is something that I had to learn when I was dealing with a lot of my German co-workers. Of course, they also have a little bit adjusted to me, and I've adjusted to them as well. So the main difference is being direct versus indirect. A lot of times in Germany, if someone feels like you're doing something wrong, they're going to tell you directly. One example would be if you are doing something incorrectly in the store. Instead of tapping you on the shoulder and saying, hey, I'm sorry, you're doing something wrong. Sometimes Germans just scream out at you and say, hey, you're doing that wrong, or du machst was falsch. Now, if you're not used to that, then that would throw you off a little bit. That is what I call German road rage. It happens everywhere because Germans are quick to tell you when you're doing something wrong. Now, the American way sometimes will be you ignore it or you try to be polite and say it. Now, but of course, we all know how that turned out, either people being rude or not. But at the end of the day, it's not that the Germans are being rude. They're just trying to correct the situation or correct the problem immediately. That's it. Instead of trying to sugarcoat it or try to chase you down, I want to get your attention as fast as possible. So I'm going to scream out loud to get your attention. And I'm going to tell you what you're doing wrong. And that's the end of it. They're not trying to make it go further. And they're not trying to make it do any less. All right. Now, politeness. This is a definition of what it means to be polite in Germany. So Germans feel that Germans' way of being polite is being honest with you. I'm not going to tell you I like something if I don't like it, because at the end of the day, if I'm eating your food and I tell you, oh, this food is very delicious, but I don't eat anymore or I don't touch it again, that kind of tells you where it really happens. Whereas sometimes Americans say, oh, I like this, and they kind of pretend to eat it. No, Germans just tell you straight up. And they value the honesty more than Americans. Sometimes we want you to lie a little bit, or we want you to sugarcoat it, or tell it. What we say, a little white lie is okay. No, Germans feel like the polite thing to do is to be straight up with you. And all of these things is their way of saying, hey, I respect you enough that I can be 100% honest with you. I'm not going to lie to you. Whereas in Americans, we'd rather be a little bit indirect, a little bit passive-aggressive with our ways. And for some people, they can be seen as rude or just being untruthful. So that's really the difference. Now, the one area where I do feel like Germans are very rude, but it's no different than what I felt in America. A lot of times people are rude when they are incompetent. So what do I mean by that? A lot of situations where I experience people being rude and evil and trying to show me that they're that God or whatever, I sense whatever God complex that they have, are in situations where they try to tell me I need something. I ask them, okay, so what is that? Explain to me what that is. And they can't even tell me what it is. They don't know. And so in order to hide or cover up their lack of knowledge or something, they would come across as being rude. So those normally when I meet the most rude people is when the people are not good at their jobs. The other situation when I experience a lot of rude people are talking on the phone. I admit I struggle speaking German on the phone. I am much better. I can use my charm with people when I meet you face to face. Apparently my charm works for me when I'm in face to face. And even my lack of being able to speak the language can easily be conveyed through my body language with my hands and with my reading my lips. You will understand the message that I'm trying to say versus when I'm on the phone and you're limited just to hearing my voice. That is also when I experience people being rude because they don't understand my way of communicating. So outside of me being on the phone with people and also outside of people not being able to do their jobs, I rarely have situations where people are rude to me. Now, as I make this video talking about people being rude, I have to acknowledge that I am in the NRV. That is probably, I think, the most populated part of Germany. And I think everything here runs well. I don't live in Bayern, I don't live in Hamburg, and I don't live in East Germany, which I've been told never go to East Germany. I have been told by multiple people that I should never visit East Germany because they're pretty racist out there. I don't know if that's true or not, but I think with the rising AFD love out there and some of the points that many people have connected to the AFD about being the racist party, then that is one stereotype, that is one stigma that so far I have not tried to disprove. When people say I stay away from the East, I have stayed away, even though there's a lot of beautiful parts in the East. I would love to go there and visit, and I have been invited to go to the East by a lot of people, but because of this one stereotype, of this one stigma, I have unfortunately stayed away. I have been to Hamburg, I have been to Bayern, and Bavaria, and I've experienced nice people in all the places I've ever been to. But of course, I've only been a tourist in those areas. I never lived in those areas, so I can't really speak about those areas. I've been to Rheinland-Pfalz as well. No one has been rude to me there. But once again, we're talking about the west side of Germany. I have yet to go to the east side, like I said, because of that one fear. So if you have experienced rudeness, if you have experienced people being mean to you, please put it in the comments. Matter of fact, tell me the areas where your experiences, the different things, whether it's going to the doctor, where it's getting on public transportation. Oh, those people can be mean. Public transportation people have been rude, but of course, that's a stressful job. You're dealing with some very rude people. And when I ride public transportation, there's a lot of rude people. And a lot of times it's Germans being rude to Germans, not necessarily being to Americans. But yeah, give me your comments. I would love to hear how it was for you when you were going through that type of stuff. Now, here's the thing. I am a country mouse. Anyone knows anything about the country mouse versus the city mouse, if you know this story, then you can probably agree with me on this one. So where I live in Germany is actually considered a village. So I can't tell you what it's like to live in one of the big cities like Berlin, or to live in Hamburg, or to live in München or something like that. Maybe it's different in those places. But in the Dorf villages where I come from, it's just like going from a small community in America. Everyone is nice. You might meet a few rude people every now and then, but like I say, as many Karens that Germany might have with people trying to correct you, There's a lot of anti-Karens that are telling people back off. This person doesn't know anything. He's a tourist or he's this, that, and the other. And they will help you out. I have had very few situations where I can say, man, that person was rude or that person was evil. I've been living here for 10 years. I have gotten used to the way Germans do it. And I'm also used to the American way of doing things. But I'm going to tell you the big difference where I feel like that I always come to advantage. I smile everywhere I go. I don't walk around with that evil, what they call it, the straight face, the evil beef, or the resting beef face that people say for that women have and sometimes men have. I try to smile more. If I smile, I feel like a smile is very contagious. If you walk into the room and the person doesn't say hello to you first, if you walk into the room and smile and say hello or guten tag, then they have to respond to you with a smile and a guten tag as well. My mom taught me that. That's an American thing, but apparently that works everywhere you go. At least in my experience, is that if you show other people your kindness first, they would normally reciprocate that kindness back. So in every situation I have been in, when people say Germans are rude, I have not experienced any more rudeness in Germany as I did in America. And I'm not saying that I'm lucky. I'm not doing anything that's special. I'm just being me. And I guess me sometimes is enough to melt off any iciness that a person might have versus just like it happened to me in America. So with that, peace. Like and subscribe if you haven't yet. Share with me your experiences of people being rude and we can make a comment.